Time to catch up with the SPCA. We've got Belinda Abrahams, who speaks on behalf of the Cape of Good Hope SPCA. Belinda, good morning. Thanks so much for your time here at breakfast.
Good morning, Aidan, and good morning to the Heart FM listeners. Always such a pleasure to speak to you.
Yeah, and I wish we didn't have to have this conversation this morning. I mean, I know we check in with particularly the SPCA every year, but it's an absolutely horrible time for animals, right? I mean, just all these loud bangs going off everywhere in a country where fireworks, well, I mean, come on, let's call it, fireworks are illegal, right?
So, Aidan, you're quite right. But, I mean, the city has taken a stance since 2019 of having no designated sites for the discharge of fireworks. And this means that fireworks aren't illegal per se, but the discharge thereof is. And it's about fireworks being a lot better controlled. And fireworks can, of course, also only be discharged with a permit. So anyone wishing to put on a fireworks display needs to apply for a permit from the South African Police Service, and that's in terms of the National Explosives Act. And then if the application to display these fireworks is approved by the police, then the applicant has to contact Fire and Rescue Services Fire Line Safety Section in the area where they plan to hold the display. And then, of course, if there's more than 200 people in attendance, they also require an events permit from the city. So fireworks are not illegal, but the discharge thereof without the permit is.
I mean, I hear you and I understand the technical difference, but I mean, it does not allow, just everything you've said, it doesn't allow for me to go into my backyard or into the road outside my house and set them off as a little bit of fun. And so many people feel that that's their right. The stuff gets sold illegally at shops in various neighborhoods. People buy it, they set them off. I've traveled the city over the course of the past couple of days. I've heard nothing but damn fireworks going off all the time.
All the time. I know, Aidan. Unfortunately, there are always going to be these people that are lawless or those that put their own entertainment ahead of everybody else's welfare, which includes not just the animals but their neighbors as well. You know, the last thing people want to be hearing at all times of night are loud bangs. But when it comes to animals, they of course hear that loud bang 7 times harder than you would. So it's that much more louder. And if you think of the loudest, most ear-piercing sound you've ever heard, you know, something like a fire alarm at its peak volume, and you multiply that intensity several times over, now imagine it as a sudden, unexpected noise that could be as startling and distressing to a dog as a sonic boom or a shockwave or from a large explosion to a human. And that's how animals experience it, you know. And their natural response is, of course, to flee from the noise. And this is where we see so many tragic consequences. In the past, we've responded to calls where dogs have literally run through glass door panes, they've jumped through glass windows, they've become impaled on palisade fencing trying to escape, or they've been hanged as they cleared a wall because they were on a chain. They've been run over by cars and so on, and it doesn't end there. You know, many will run and hide in the smallest of places, drains, stuck in pipes. And of course, those who aren't rescued are never going to find their way home again. And then there's the impact on wild animals as well. You know, wild birds and other wildlife will also flee. They become disorientated, they fly into buildings, they run onto highways. And of course, birds will abandon nests and just leave offspring to suffer. So the absolute terror animals experience from loud bangs is a very, very real threat for them. And it's extremely cruel and it's incredibly selfish.
Yeah, I mean, just to underline exactly what you're saying right now, message in from Keegan on the WhatsApp line saying, morning, we woke up to this gruesome discovery of my dog hanging between the washing lines as he tried to jump over the fence due to the fireworks last night. So he got stuck and choked. We discovered his hanging body this morning. It's exactly what you're talking about, Belinda.
Exactly that, Aidan, and how terribly, terribly sad.
Yeah, for nothing you've done as the pet owner, but for I don't know, callous, thoughtless people around you who think it's their preserve to have a little bit of fun without understanding the consequences of their actions. All right, I mean, we can go 12 rounds about what people should and shouldn't be doing with the things they may or may not be buying, but what can animal owners do, pet owners, over this time? Because ultimately, I'd imagine it's about doing as much as you possibly can to keep those pets safe.
Yes, please, Aidan. So, you know, if people could make sure that their pet companions are safe, that they have up-to-date identification on them, A collar with a tag and a registered microchip with all the necessary up-to-date information is, of course, first prize. It just helps us reunite pets with their owners so much quicker. And then, of course, create a safe space, a secure place for your pets inside your home that's away from the windows or doors. Keep the curtains or the blinds closed. Put on the TV or the radio to try and mask some of the sounds outside. And, of course, feed them early this evening. It'll make them a little fuller and a little more sleepier. And let them stay inside with you. And, of course, some dogs may need a good walk before the evening just to help them feel calmer. But if you're going to do this, do it in the day and not at night when fireworks could be set off. And, of course, give it some enrichment as a positive distraction. So a nice chewy or a big sinewy something from your local vet shop or pet shop. And also, most vet shops stock a range of calming tablets, that there's sprays and products that can be sprinkled on food or bedding. And if you know that your pet reacts badly, then speak to a professional about the best options for your pet. There may be something that a vet would actually specifically need to prescribe for you. But mostly be there for them to comfort them, keep them reassured and feeling safe. And remember that older pets can develop fears later in life, become anxious about things that previously didn't bother them. So take this into account if you have an aging dog or cat and that their behavior could change over time and unexpectedly. But, of course, most of all, if I could just make an appeal to everybody who's considering discharging fireworks, to please consider dangers and effects of fireworks and choose ways to celebrate that protects our environment, our fellow citizens, and our animals. Of course, none of the above would be necessary.
Absolutely. I'm going to park it there. She speaks on behalf of the Cape of Good Hope SPCA. They have their hands full at this time of year. And, I mean, it's not even a one-day thing. It's a couple of days in the lead up to. It's on the day and then a few days after Guy Fawkes, where these fireworks just are going off illegally all over our city. It has an impact on a whole host of things, including a severe one on animals. Always just bear that in mind. Appreciate the time with us this morning here on Hard Breakfast.
This